If Optimus Prime and Jessica Rabbit had a baby, this website would be it. You're listening to The Fellas.
My name's Peter Parker. I'm pretty sure you know the rest. I saved the city, fell in love, then I saved the city again, and again, and again. Look, I'm a comic book, a cereal, I did a Christmas album, and a so-so popsicle. But look, this isn't about me. Not anymore.
Right. Damn, man. You get a...
Ooh, I should be an actor.
You should be. You should put all your money into it. Yeah. Like every fucking dime. Okay. It is finally here, Ray. I waited for it when I first saw it. Then I saw another trailer. It's like, yo, this actually looks pretty good. And I had a heart attack and you woke me back up and I enjoyed, what was left. Finally saw it. What do we see today, Ray?
Spider-Man Into the Multiverse.
What the fuck do I pay you for, man?
You don't pay me much, man. You don't pay me much.
God damn. You actually had to fucking sit there and think about it.
Yes, because the movie was that good.
I've had a quarter of a bottle of Gentleman Jack, and I can remember the fucking full name of the movie.
Well, it's Spider-Man, man. I mean, what do you get?
Into the Spider-verse, guys. Get it right.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you for coming. I haven't even introduced you yet, but thank you for coming in. Ray, do me a favor. Shut the fuck up for the next, 10 minutes. I'm putting you on timeout.
All right.
I give you one job, and you failed. Just sit there and be quiet for 10 minutes. Yo, Dre, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey,
Guess who's back.
Hey, everybody, it's the fellas. It's your boy Antoine and Dre.
This is like internet thing. It's like, hey guys, we're back.
Hey, well, bringing you back right now.
What the fuck did I just tell you? Shut up.
Ray, dude, watch some YouTube videos, bro. I'm trying to connect with millennials.
Guess what?
That's
Guess
how you
what,
gotta
Ray,
say. You gotta say, hey guys.
YouTube Rewind is out. I know you're into all that PC culture bullshit. Just watch that, give it a thumbs up, then watch it again in virtual signal.
Okay, I'll give that a
try. The adults are talking right now.
Good for the young, for the millennials. We could get some of that ad money, Ray. Stop showing your age, man. Hey guys.
Exactly.
Anyways, it's Dre, Antoine, and Ray. We're back. We're interviewing Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Into the Spider-verse.
Now here's the thing. This is special. It's so special. I had to go overseas. Yeah, Dre, you ever saw one of those movies where like, yo, oh my God, a meteor filled with alien ants is about to hit the planet. We don't know what to do, but guess what? There's one person on the whole planet that's a specialist on meteors filled with ants. We have to go to him. That's what we're doing right now. We got to go to the planet's only Spider-Man expert. And just like in the movie, he's not there because what he does is so obscure. You have to get him over the speakerphone and whatnot. He's like, this guy, he's in Hamburg. We have to get him over the phone and he's going to tell us how to beat the asteroid alien ant queen. And we've gotten our own version of the asteroid alien ant queen. But boy is on the line. Is it
drum roll, please?
Is it Professor Johnny or Dr. Johnny, or is it? I see one here. It's a picture of a monkey throwing a coconut at somebody. I don't know what the fuck's going on. What is this? What's your name?
I don't know if that's a coconut. I think it's something else. But yes, I have my doctorate in Spider-Man.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Full disclaimer: if it was up to me, I would legally change my name to Peter Benjamin Parker. That's how of a Spider-Man fanatic I am.
I appreciate you saying that because typically people are going to get much less pussy saying that, and that only validates how thorough and positive you are in your profession. It's like I was laughed at, I didn't get the pussy, but I understood how important this is, and now you're vindicated. A Spider-Man movie that's good.
I am vindicated. When people think about pussy, they say, yeah, I got it. They could have it. I have a good Sony Spider-Man movie.
What was the thesis?
My thesis to get my doctorate was in the in-depth consequences of the Clone Saga.
Oh, God.
To the fandom and Howard Mackey. See, people don't understand who Howard Mackey is and what Howard Mackey did was right. Hold on, I need a minute right now because I brought up a name.
Oh, okay.
All Spider-Man fans,
you brought up the Clone Saga and Howard Mackey, and now we need Antoine. On to the next stop.
So that's how I go way back. in this. Okay,
You
he
gonna bring
bought
it, though.
every
Most
issue of the
atrocious
Clone
moments
Saga
in Spider-Man
as if
history.
it was
Come on,
good.
dude. Talk about the highlights.
Okay, look.
No,
see, I see what the anger.
I was there.
You see,
for
the
Clone
problem
Saga
is, the
and
problem
read it
is,
like it was good.
Look. The Clone Saga, everyone knows the Clone Saga is the red-headed bastard of the Spider-Man series. I don't need you trying to justify it. I love you. I don't need you to justify that mistake. That mistake in you thinking that was a legitimate storyline. I'm not going to say whether it's legitimate or not. I'm not going to say that. Hey, this is a safe space. It's a safe space. You stop that. You stop that.
Nothing good came out.
This is a safe space. We're not going to say who made mistakes. I ain't going to say you made a mistake in thinking that was a good series. I ain't going to say that. And I don't need you bringing that up to justify your acceptance. I won't even say love. Your acceptance of that. Because a lot of people said it was a mistake. Anyone who liked that series is a fucking retard who is the offspring of inbreds. I ain't saying that. Other people saying that. My man John, I'm not saying you fuck sheep and you drink gasoline because you think that was a good series. I'm not saying that, bro. I'm not saying that. Where's the love? I'm not saying that. I love you even if you think a legitimate storyline is one that is actually liked by people who have sex with their sisters. I'm not saying that.
But that was
All
in a
I'm
different
saying
universe,
is-
though. That was in a different universe.
We are digress.
We are so off topic right now.
Yeah.
This is what happens with really good movies. You get people this off topic. You fuck it all up. God help us if we can even get through this damn review.
All right.
Yes.
Can we all agree that Sony will make all of its money that it lost with this one movie?
Yes.
The movie's been out like 3 days now. They've already like recouped the budget.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, for all their other mishaps throughout the year.
By the time this thing plays its course, it'll definitely make a lot more than the $90 million that they spent to make this thing.
I don't even think Sony directed this. I think Disney did this.
It's actually distributed by Sony. It was directed, I think it was written by one of the Lego Spider-Man guys.
Yeah, it was.
I think the Lego Spider-Man guys had a lot more to do with this than...
This was phenomenal.
I mean, the Lego Spider-Man. The Lego guys who did the Lego movie, Lego Batman,
And those
etc.
movies are good.
They did a really good job. They were the executive producers.
One of the guys wrote the stories. Phil Lord wrote the story and the screenplay.
If they're smart, they would make their own studio and then just cash in on that and then just make movies like this. And that's it. To be smart.
Yeah.
They have to
if they were smart, because this was the movie they did right after they got kicked off of Solo.
Oh,
so for Solo had a bunch of rewrites.
Guys, this is too much. This is too much nerd shit. There's no way we're gonna be able to have this streamlined. So that being said, I'm gonna give the viewers an idea of what they're getting into. All right, viewers, I want you to understand something. And John, jump in at any time.
Okay.
I was never really a Spider-Man fan. I got into Spider-Man when Fox made their cartoon series. What was it called?
Amazing Spider-Man.
It was just Spider-Man, or was it Amazing Spider-Man?
Was it Amazing Spider-Man?
I do believe it was Amazing Spider-Man.
John, Spider-Man
Probably.
expert?
Yeah, I think it was Amazing Spider-Man.
I only got into it after that because...
Yeah, that's the Fox one.
Yeah.
Let's just call it the Fox. Just call it the Fox.
Yeah, the
First
Fox
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. It was good. And I was like, and I picked up a couple Spider-Man books, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And I kind of dropped off it. That was it. The only other time I genuinely got into Spider-Man is at some random interval. I just happened to be at some place. Let's just say it was a college. And let's just say, for instance, I was happened to be there for a higher education. I don't know. Maybe I was there for the pussy. It's an all-male college. And I happened to run into Johnny. And Johnny was like, hey, why don't you look at this Spider-Man? And it was something called Ultimate Spider-Man. Hey, take a look at this thing called Ultimate Spider-Man. I was like, look, bro, I'm not into Spider-Man. I'm gonna sit here, drink my Click beer, official beer of the Bahamas. Yeah, we're sponsors now. I read Ultimate Spider-Man, and it was really, really fucking good. It was fucking phenomenal. It's like, wow, this is some awesome fucking Spider-Man. So I went and picked up a normal Spider-Man comic, and to me it sucked. So I didn't realize Ultimate Spider-Man was a completely different dimension, completely written by someone else who had a different idea, which would later spin off into other shit, but I digress. Ultimate Spider-Man was phenomenal. So phenomenal. How do you know that something is a success? I think Mark Twain says, you know you're a success when other people completely rip you to fuck off. And that's pretty much what Marvel did. And that's how we knew it was a fucking success. So they started making all these different Spider-Man spin-offs. Some of them great, some of them okay, some of them we just don't talk about. But they made all these different spin-offs. The idea was, it's a multiverse, it's all these different universes. That's what this movie's based on. The basic idea is, in the Ultimate Universe, Spider-Man was, Peter Parker. Now you may say, wait, this character is Miles Morales. No, it's Peter Parker. But the thing is, at some point, the cusp of the SJW attack, they're like, we're going to kill him off, make a new Spider-Man, and make him someone who is acceptable to the SJWs. So they made a kid who's half black, half wizard.
Well, weirdly enough, the character of Miles Morales was slightly inspired by, remember when the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man came out, Amazing Spider-Man series?
Yeah.
Yeah, Donald Glover had this huge online campaign where he was trying to be the next Spider-Man. And
I heard
even on the
about
Community
that.
season 2, he dressed up as Spider-Man.
Yeah, I heard about
the series premiere, and that was kind of his way of slick tongue-in-cheek way of saying make me the next Spider-Man. Bendis saw that, and Bendis was like, I really, really would like to read that story.
Honestly,
that's what they claim online and in interviews. That's where Bendis kind of got inspired to create the Miles Morales character. But that being said, Axel Alonso played a big role in that too, and
the great Axel Alonso.
Well,
the SJW.
That's the fucking thing that pisses me off. Looking back, you could have just started him off as Miles Morales. Don't even call him Peter Parker. Yeah, Miles Morales.
One of the big things that drew you into Miles Morales was that permadeath does not happen in comic books, and they said they were going to kill Spider-Man in the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man, and that's going to come back. I said it was bullshit. And that's what they did. They killed Spider-Man off and replaced him with a totally original character, which was almost unheard of.
That's true. I still would have been happy if they had started that way from the get-go, because it wasn't Peter Parker that drove people in. It was this particular spin on it. It was like, this is fucking...
Well, another reason they didn't do it was, you have to remember, Peter Parker was an IP.
Yes,
Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and everything was an IP.
No, I get...
They tried it before, you remember? Everybody remembers Spider-Man 2099, where they made a completely different Spider-Man.
Not talk about that, if that's...
Well, anyway, I am one who could say Spider-Man 2099 in its inception was a very cool idea. Like I say, I have Spider-Man in my blood. I will say that, but that's a compensation for another time. Now, Bendis has always said that in creating, in redoing the Ultimate Universe, him and Mark Miller and all that, that was them just having fun, and they was able to cut loose and do stories that they couldn't normally do.
Cutting loose.
It was a modern take on the superheroes that we all know, and it was an easy jumping on point for people that
new readers.
For the new readers, and that's how Ultimate started. And that's what I really like how this film started. It starts off with Miles Morales. You get to see this kid. You realize he's really smart. He's in a gifted school. He meets this quirky blonde girl, and you think they have something going on. You obviously think something's going on with her. He's feeling really out of place, so he goes to hang out with his uncle. His uncle tells him hey, let me take you someplace cool. Your dad's a cop.
The guy who plays the voice of his uncle, I would swear that's DMX. John, is that DMX?
No. That's
that? Uncle? Or maybe I'm just racist. Maybe all deep voice
the guy who played the uncle.
Alike.
That was
that's Mahershala Ali, right?
Mahershala Ali.
I can't pronounce that guy's name.
He's in everything ever since from House of Cards.
He's in House of Cards.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's Mahershala Ali.
He's like the only black dude in the House of Cards.
So he's the guy that worked for the corporation.
Really, really good actor.
God damn.
He takes him out to loosen up. He does some graffiti. We really get to see Miles Morales is a cool kid. He's between two worlds. His dad's a cop, his uncle's a
criminal.
Definitely got something going on. He takes him to do graffiti in the subway tunnels. From there on, that's where we introduced to the spider. See this spider says Alchemax on it.
John, how accurate is this to Ultimate Spider-Man?
With
how
Miles' story, one thing I do like, and this is still leading up into the whole thing, with the whole introduction of Miles. What I do like, and that's just pulling it back a bit, when he's walking through New York, you get to feel that this is a kid of mixed ethnicity.
Yes.
He's speaking Spanish and everything, and he's not just the nerd, he's the cool kid.
He's not just a nerd, he's cool. He's hiding his nerdness.
What's going on over there?
To
That's
me,
what it is.
that's what's most important. He doesn't want people
He's
to know he's a
hiding his
nerd.
nerdist.
I love that. I just want to be cool. I want to be popular. I don't want people to know that there's something bigger. There's more potential, because that more potential is not valued among the cool kids. And that's what Spider-Man's always been.
The whole Peter Parker thing.
No, of course,
Yeah,
of
it is,
course,
it
of
is.
You know,
course.
because Peter Parker was the
Absolutely. I
same thing.
love
He was
that.
a nerd. He wasn't like the most
Isn't-
popular kid in school.
What was it the teacher said? The test?
Yeah,
and he
when
got
did
a
the test, she
zero,
said
a zero out of 100.
She said it's impossible to get a zero. She said the only way you could get a zero is if you knew all the right answers and intentionally put all the wrong answers, because she was basically saying an idiot could get 50%.
Oh, it's
you
because
got
it's true or
all
false. It's true or
wrong.
false. And he got 100% false. And she said, statistically, that is fucking possible. You
Yes.
had to know every single correct answer.
When I was in high school, there were some real stupid people in my school. So I mean, I don't know. I think I might have witnessed 100% wrong once.
Like you was asking how close it was. The spirit of original story with Miles and getting bitten by the spider and all of that was there because, one, Uncle Aaron was the cool uncle. He was
Right.
the little rebel, but he was cool, and they never hinted, even in the books, to what he was. He was just where Miles went when couldn't deal with stuff at home and all that, and that's what his uncle was. So they kept that.
Yeah.
So even with them spray painting and all that was a new twist on what actually happened. He was hanging with Uncle Aaron and got bit by the spider.
Donald Glover actually played Aaron in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie.
Really?
Well-known fact.
Get the fuck out of
He
here.
also played Miles Morales in the animated series, in the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show. Donald Glover did the voice for Miles Morales also.
Coming around full circle.
From where did the spider come from?
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Ray didn't read it. But to the question for the layman, Ray represents the audience because he doesn't read Spider-Man. Fuck out
So
of
as
here,
the
this
story,
guy.
I collect.
progresses-
I just don't read it.
as
The
story
movie and the
progresses-
comic had it different in this regard.
Okay.
The spider originally was a Norman Osborn spider, one
Right.
of the other experiments he did from the comic book, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah,
And then in the movie, they made it Alchemax, which was the company that Miguel O'Hara worked for in Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah, so Alchemax is pretty much taking the place of Oscorp in this movie. And instead of Norman Osborn being the bad guy, we have the Kingpin, who's
Norman
doing
Osborn was the bad guy for a while.
reality warping experiments.
Yeah, what Wilson Fisk is doing, he's trying to find a way to get into other dimensions using a Hylon
Full
collider.
spoilers now.
Spoilers. Usually when the movie's so good, we don't want to post spoilers.
All
I'm
right,
telling
let's
you
just go.
right now.
Let her rip.
Yeah, let's just go.
Everybody,
Let's
everybody
just
watch
go.
the goddamn movie, okay? Whatever we review, between all of us, we're just having a fucking full price circle jerk. It may be higher, it may be lower, but either way, you're getting some white shit to the face. Go watch the fucking movie. Fuck spoilers.
It's a
We're gonna
spider
talk
web.
about it.
It's a spider web.
I
Don't
like
worry, it's
that.
not gooey.
Yes.
Yeah, it's. I'm talking about.
Soldier,
I'm
yes.
referring to semen, Ray.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to keep it a little G-rated here.
What?
This is a family-friendly movie.
What? Okay, you know what? All right, whatever. So Wilson Fisk, if I remember correctly, in Ultimate Spider-Man, one of my favorite things was something you showed me, John, is having like a steak dinner at a fancy restaurant. Spider-Man comes up and they're talking to each other, and specifically, I know exactly what it is you're trying to do and this and that, whatever. At one point, he tries to move his feet, Wilson Fisk, and he looks down and it's like, did you just completely web my feet to the floor? And Spider-Man's like, yeah. And he's like, why the fuck would you do that? And then, Peter Parker's like, you see? This is what I'm talking about. You don't know shit about me. You don't know why I do what I do. And he fucking left. And I'm probably butchering that. It was so funny when I read it, and I'm probably butchering it. And John, you could probably explain it better. And if you can, that's so perfect because in the book, he was like 15. It's like, yeah, kids do dumb shit like this. Just to see your fucking reaction, they do shit like this. And he doesn't get that. And I was kind of hoping to see that Kingpin.
Well, what I was excited to see, one, the Kingpin was a shocker. But
Yeah.
Miles gets bitten by the spider. He goes back to school, sneaks back to his room. He's back in school. He runs into the pretty blonde chick again. And he goes to like put the moves on her like his uncle told him. And he gets his hand stuck in her hair. It was pretty damn embarrassing. And then all of a sudden, like she has to get her head shaved because he can't detach his fingers from her hair. So she gets half her head shaved off. And now he's walking back. And he's thinking to himself, like, damn, this is embarrassing.
You got
But
hairy
his
palms.
spider sense is kicking in now. And he's like, why am I thinking so loud? why can I hear myself think so loud? You know,
Yeah,
that was
plus I
pretty
can
funny.
see every single person with every single movement of their like face and their figures and whatnot. And I can tell
loved
when
it.
they're thinking about me. And here's the cool thing. Originally, and Stan Lee, God rest his soul, said, yeah, this stuff that Peter Parker was going through was supposed to represent puberty.
Yeah.
Stan Lee himself said that.
And Miles kept saying that in the thing. Everyone's
It's
like, what's
not
wrong with you? He's like,
puberty.
it's puberty. It's puberty. It's so awesome that they brought it back full circle.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
the whole thing, I feel self-conscious. My body is growing out of control. I've got fluids in me that I can't control. I swear, everyone's thinking about me. I don't know what to do except to just fuck it. Take the plunge. It's all puberty. Stan Lee was a genius. I mean, you know,
it definitely, and all those things played into this comic. So he pretty much runs away out of embarrassment, gets back to his room, and finds a Spider-Man comic. And everything that happens in the Spider-Man comic is happening to him, which is pretty damn funny.
You know, the one thing that I felt that was a little weird going into this film, all the textured effects. Like, it took about
my
like 15
God.
minutes for my eyes to adjust. And I was like...
And also, by the way, for any of our fans that haven't seen it yet, do not watch this movie in 3D.
Yeah, I would watch
You gotta
this in
watch
3D.
it in no D.
No D.
Yeah.
No, you would leave with a headache. It took me like
it's
20
not-
minutes
It's
to
not
adjust.
so much, Ray. It's
No,
not
no,
so
no,
much
no.
that you're leaving with a headache.
No, it's not the headache. It's just if you had the 3D glasses, there's so much you want to focus on.
Exactly. There's too much. There's too much on the side.
At first I thought I was watching a 3D movie without the glasses. because
Yes.
they have,
Yes,
I've never seen animation like this.
No,
Yes.
I've
And
never
John,
seen.
John, how did you explain it to me yesterday?
Okay, one of the things I just found out,
Like
right?
it blurs out.
It blurs out. Like, if anyone remember comics in the 80s,
I do.
there's this, when they colored it, they had a little blurred effect where
Dot
the color
matrix.
overlap. A lot of times, yes, with the dot matrix, a lot of times that happens. But I just found out, and Ray may know more about this, in animation, they do maybe like, say, 20 frames in a second or whatever. In this movie, they doubled it.
Yeah, they had to do 60
similar
or
to
something.
like what they did with hand drawn. So the animation itself is a lot more fluid. So they could get a lot more movement in each frame.
And with Spider-Man, that's perfect.
Well,
And
Yeah,
they had some like interesting filters. I've never seen it done like this. Like
I've
you'll
never
be
seen it done
watching
like
and like the background will blur for a little bit.
yes.
It just like doesn't
Yeah,
distract you. Like it shows you like kind of what to focus on. And when the spider powers kicked in, it kind of like shows you how special the spider sense is, because I don't think any movie or TV show has ever done justice to what spider sense is. Spider-Man's perception of the world is so much more acute than a normal human being. And like
Exactly.
people have no idea how powerful Spider-Man is. And this movie kind of shows that. And like with the spider sense, how he used it. Like when he first was introduced to his realities, Peter Parker, as soon as he met him, both of their spider sense went off. And he was like, you're just like me, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, no
And that was
explanation
so
necessary.
cool, dude. That
He's
was
like, oh
so
shit,
cool.
you're just like me. No explanation necessary. I love that.
And I went back to the look, the visual look of the movie, the feel of the movie, everything
man.
about it. One of the things, and like, say for us, all of us here are comic book fans.
Absolutely.
I took my daughter, I watched her watch the movie, and to see the excitement in her eyes when she saw little things,
the
when
worst
she
part
saw the
is-
movement.
The worst part is when she had that excitement, you probably weren't even looking at the screen. You're looking at her. You're living
I was looking at her.
vicariously through her. How's that feel?
And that's the thing. And the crazy thing is, I saw it first by myself.
Uh-huh.
Then I took her watching her, and there's certain scenes in the movie, like she's gasping, like, oh, that's who that is. Did you see this? And like she was so excited. She left the movie, me jumping ahead of one of the things, but one of the things that hit home for her was she looked at it and she's like, Auntie Leah is my Uncle Aaron. And that blew me away.
Oh,
That blew me away that she compared this movie to real life.
That's
Oh,
the
you got a
thing.
rat-
And here's the fucked up thing, John. It's a
She
fucked
got a
up thing.
ratchet. She got a ratchet scandalous aunt. She looked at.
That's the one we talk about. I tell you, I wouldn't hook you up with. That's the same one.
I want some trouble in my
God.
life.
The fucked up thing is...
I can see it now. You just running down the street, some chick with jet boots trying to murder me.
The fucked up thing is you never take it seriously, and then someone else who you would never expect to take it seriously compares it to real life, and then you're like bust out your shell and you're like, yeah, I do too. We always compare this type of shit to real life. That's what hooks people in. And only certain writers and certain artists get that.
And I turned to him when the movie was over and I said, this movie visually, it eclipsed Akira for me. It visually has eclipsed. Like literally, this is how to go into the Animation Hall of Fame. There has been nothing else that had totally changed the dynamic of 3D and 2D animation. Because there's moments that I know it's not 3D. They actually hand painted some 2D animation to go on some of the effects. Just like when Kingpin was fighting Spider-Man, there's a whole bunch of like added lines that were on there that weren't really supposed to be there in 3D. You could tell, but hands down, like this has got to be like the top, and you know me, the top animation I have ever seen in my life.
Dude,
with no story going with it.
Guys, my whole thing was, okay, they did the Spider-Verse in the books, in the comic books about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They did, well, more like 7 years ago in the comics. Then about 5 years ago, Spider-Man cartoon. Yeah. So when I first heard about the Spider-Verse thing, I was like, again? I mean, whipping a dead horse, man. It's like, really, Sony? Then I saw the first trailer. I was like, the first trailer? The Nikes, and I saw the Air Force Ones, and I was like, shameless. What was it? When I went to watch, what was the last thing we reviewed?
Jeez.
That I reviewed with you guys. It was a comic book movie.
It was Avengers, and that's when we got the real trailer because
yes. And I saw that trailer, and I was like, hold on now. I saw dirty, crusty Peter Parker, and I was like, we may have something here. We just might have something here. Miles goes back to the subway to find the spider that bit him because he's trying to figure out what the hell happened to him. He's got spider powers and he doesn't know what the hell's going on. And all of a sudden, like, his spider sense goes off for the first time. Boom! The fucking goblin busts through the wall. It's the ultimate goblin from the Ultimate Comic Books. Spider-Man comes through the wall and they're going at it. And dude, in this animated style, to see Spider-Man move, it's fucking amazing, dude. It is amazing. No pun intended. Spectacular, even. No pun intended.
But so stupid.
Finally, like, Miles is trying to duck and dodge the debris. Spider-Man gets him, saves him, said, yo, kid, wait here for me. I'll be back. I just got to stick this USB inside the collider and it's over. And you thinking to yourself, like, Spider-Man got this, man. Spider-Man never loses. Spider-Man goes in, jacks the Goblin. Prowler comes, jacks the Prowler. Back to the Goblin. Then all of a sudden, Kingpin shows up. And you're like, what the? Kingpin? And he's like, have you ever heard of a collider? Just wait and see. And he turns the collider on, and all of a sudden, it's like some reality warping shit goes on, and Spider-Man just had to stick the USB in to turn it off, takes the Goblin out. All of a sudden, he's just about to stick the USB in, and the Goblin comes back and gets him.
Yeah,
chaos ensues, and you're like, dude, the action is amazing. I'm so freaking excited right now.
Yeah, pull your pants back up, man. Hold on, man. Don't get too excited.
Yeah, I know. Okay, Spider-Man fails. We're sitting there like, really? The good guy doesn't turn the thing off? You get these reality warping events going on throughout the city. Somehow, some way, the fight manages to destroy everything, take the lab out of commission. But now you have Spider-Man on the ground. He's under some debris. The Goblin's knocked out. Prowler's gone. And Miles goes over to talk to Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like, just take this doohickey and climb up there and stick it in. And that's it. We'll be out of here. But he's like, don't let him see your face. Don't let him see who you are. Just, And we see Kingpin walking around. Yeah. You gotta find him. Miles is gonna go up there, turn the thing off. Spider-Man will get back out. They'll become buddies. Kingpin comes and fucking kills Spider-Man.
But before that, he tells him, I know what you were trying to do, and it won't work. And because of that, Kingpin gets so irate. He just kills him. Because at first, he was just going to be like, yeah, you can't stop us and all that. But he told him, I know what you're doing. I've seen what's going on, and it won't work.
Fucking crushes Spider-Man. And then Miles, of course, like every movie trope, he makes a little noise. They turn around. He says, go get him, Prowler. And then that shit was terrifying, dude. Yeah. Anytime the Prowler was on the scene, that shit was fucking terrifying.
Right there.
If Prowler, you got like a 4-year-old kid, do not take him to watch that movie. Jumping out my seat.
You jump. I watched my daughter while she was doing it, and she like gripping into the chair, like like holding her breath.
The movements, it was pretty damn intense. You get the news reports, Peter Parker, Spider-Man has died. The weird thing is, when they unmasked him, he had blonde hair. So now you're sitting there like, what the fuck is going on?
That must have been the Chris Pine version of Spider-Man.
So now you're thinking like, okay, what's going on? We're not in the 616, the main Marvel universe. We're in an alternate reality. News reports about the death of Spider-Man. Peter Parker's dead. His Aunt May's still alive. His wife is Mary Jane. And that's when they first got me, man. When they had that memorial service for Spider-Man and Mary Jane was talking, I started crying in the movie theater, man.
As well you should.
Pussy.
Dude, I'm
Look, nah,
dude,
nah,
40,
nah.
A man only has so
I'm
much.
sensitive. Maybe my estrogen level. I gotta stop drinking that soy milk.
Yeah, you got to stop drinking that soy
Look,
I
milk.
won't cry for Mary Jane, but I will cry for Aunt May. That's just me. I don't know. You know, you call me a cuck if you want. I'll cry for Aunt May, but not for Mary Jane.
Miles is thinking about the card, so he goes into the comic book store, and that's where we have the great cameo by Stan Lee.
Oh, and then these
Because he has to go to the funeral.
Right.
These motherfuckers got me crying again.
By the
Dude,
way,
that shit had me
you
crying
said,
like a big old baby.
I'm glad you said that because you're like, oh, I cried when he mentioned this and that. When I saw Stan Lee's face and I heard his authentic voice, I turned to the side because I had to cough. There was something in my throat. Yeah, I cried a little bit.
When Miles goes to Stan and he says, if the suit doesn't fit, can I return it? Because he buys a Spider-Man suit. He looks at him and says, it always fits eventually.
It always fits eventually.
And dude, because that's something Stan Lee always said as well, something like that. Like,
even
anyone
off the
could be
screen,
Spider-Man.
off the screen.
We're all Spider-Man, dude. Like that right there, that hit me so hard, dude.
The worst part is, you would listen to that and say, oh, that's some romanticism, idealistic bullshit. Stan Lee really believed that shit, dude.
Then when it panned to the side and it was like no returns or refunds, that was or something like that. That was kind of funny. But it's the Stan Lee formula is why these characters stand the test of times.
Yeah.
Great power comes great responsibility, and there's a good part with that too, where like they didn't rub it in our faces.
The whole thing is with the Stan Lee formula.
You're Spider-Man. You have no choice but to be Spider-Man.
The Stan Lee formula simply says you have to believe in something larger than yourself. Everything else at the end of the day is bullshit. And we're like, look, this is the best I can do. You want me to think that I'm a superhero? I'm just a fucking guy and this and that. The whole idea of the Stan Lee formula is you have to believe in something bigger than yourself. That works with every fucking body, man.
After they have the funeral, Miles goes to the gravesite and he's talking. He's like, look, jumping around.
Oh, yeah. He did all the classic stuff from like
he broke the key
and stuff. Like he runs up to the top of the tallest building and is about to jump from building to building. Then he's like, hold on, let me find a shorter building. So he runs to the other building.
Yeah.
He
jumps,
didn't have faith.
busts his ass,
he did not have faith.
Yeah, but he goes to Peter Parker's grave with the costume on, and all of a sudden, cloaked figure comes up behind him, and he turns around, and Venom strikes him.
Yeah,
Miles can generate electrical shocks, which is, something Spider-Man doesn't normally do.
Right.
It happens to be Peter Parker, but we just watched Peter Parker die, so what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So he's fooling around with him. The cops show up.
Great scene.
He tries to pick up the body. He hits the web singer off by mistake.
He doesn't know how to use it.
There's a young kid dragging around a homeless corpse, Hilarity ensues,
that was a really great scene.
Now, before you go further, I want to speak to my boy John.
Yeah.
The way he was hitting the web swinger, should it have been able to hold? At some point, it hit a train. The train yanked them both up. It's pulling both him and Peter. Is that tensile strength correct?
About it, the only movie that really talked about it was the Andrew Garfield one, when they went into how strong the tensile strength of the webbing is. But yeah, that would be no problem whatsoever.
Because comic book physics works. That's fine. I was just iffy. I was like, is it? Again, I'm not the Spider-Man guy. I'm not the PhD in Spider-Manology. You are.
If you really must know, and we must go down certain rabbit holes.
Okay.
According to Marvel's official wiki, the web line's tensile strength has been estimated to be around 120 pounds per square millimeter of cross-section.
Millimeter? Really?
120 pounds per square millimeter of cross-section, which means it's hella strong.
That's a lot. It's actually a lot. I'm just verifying so I know if I'll have to add this one to my repertoire.
Antoine, I'm going to give you a week to make some rope that can hold me up. I weigh about 350 and 400 pounds.
You know what?
Make some string that can hold me in the air.
Guess what? I don't even know how to fucking make rope. Challenge accepted. Wait, what? Did I just fuck that up? No. Okay, whatever. Let's move on.
Let's talk about all the other Spider-Man that come into the scene.
Okay.
All right.
Now,
so long story short, first we're introduced to Peter.
Yes.
We realize there's something janky going on with the universes. So Miles meets Peter from an alternate reality, an older, washed-up version of Spider-Man who's ready to call it quits.
When you look at this Peter and he tells his story,
oh God,
the funny thing is, this is our Peter Parker.
Yes.
A lot of stuff that happened in the comics and the movies.
Yeah.
The movies, the first one does all the movies.
John, please break it down. How do you know this is our Peter? What are the things that happens to him? I'm watching it like, holy fuck. This is the main one. All this shit, I don't even fucking read Spider-Man. I'm just listening to you all fucking day. That's how I know this shit happened to Spider-Man. I'll turn to Ray like, yo, this is our Spider-Man. What happens?
Talking about all his screw-ups. And then he did the marriage and how it fell apart. All I could think about is like one more day and everything.
Exactly.
And that right there was like, oh, this is
What about his aunt?
Talk about his aunt dying. And then when he talked about all the stuff that happened, they had Brand New Day and they had some other story where Peter's life went
all in
to
there.
hell in comic books. And that's what I saw. I was like, this is how Peter Parker.
Because the thing is, I originally thought when it started was the main world.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like, yo, I found Mary Jane, I got married, the marriage failed, my aunt died. That's when I was like, yo, fuck, we're not fucking watching the main world. That's the main world because his wife, his marriage does fail. His aunt
he did
does
the
die.
upside down kiss, so that wasn't the real Spider-Man. That was fucking Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
That was Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
But the whole thing is, I felt that was just Sony throwing shit in there.
I don't think that was the 616 Spider-Man because the 616 Spider-Man will be the Spider-Man we know it. All the stuff that happened to him never happened to our Spider-Man.
But I did not expect them to hold themselves to that level of accountability.
I did really like that version of Peter. Yeah. And before we jump on to the other people, the reason I brought him up because there was like a couple of cool scenes in there that came full circle as the movie played out.
Yep.
Peter wakes up, he's tied up to like a punching bag, and he's like swinging around.
Yes.
And Miles is like,
and by the way, he's fat.
Like, I got the upper hand. And Peter frees himself, and the first thing he says is like, watch the hands. You always got to watch the hands.
Not the mouth. Because remember, Peter starts talking with him more and more and more and more to the point where Miles is thinking more about what he said than he is looking at, like, what is this guy doing? And what does Peter say? First lesson of being Spider-Man, watch the hands, not the mouth. Dude, you know how I knew this was the real Peter Parker? Because everything was ho-hum. He'd done it enough that it was fucking boring. It's like, yo, I'm a new superhero. I'm full of energy and everything is new. I'm gonna make a difference. I'm gonna do this and that and whatever. And he was like, yo, I'm fucking done with this shit, dude. I have this special device that's gonna save the day. It's gonna save everything. Oh, you mean a goober? What?
Yeah.
No, it's a fucking
He's
goober.
Like,
I come up with those all the time.
I just call them all goober. They all do the same thing.
At the last minute, some shit that I come up with that saves everything. Now, how jaded do you have to be like, this happens so much? Whatever the fuck this shit is, I give it a nickname. How jaded do you have to be?
And I love the fact that he was so jaded that Miles was like, come on, man, I need you to help me save the this and save the that, train me. And he was like, kid, I just want to go home.
Yeah. He's like, look, do me a favor. Don't be me. Just, you know, I'm looking at you and it hurts me to see you like this because it reminds me of how I used to be, which pisses me off. I hate how I used to be.
Throw away the suit. Get away. Don't do this.
When he's like, Peter, you can't go. You know, with great power comes. And he's like, don't say it, kid. Do not say it.
But why does he get upset at that? Why does he get upset at that?
I got upset, dude.
John, explain to me, how many times, just reading the comic books, does Peter Parker say, you know what? I wish I would have walked away. If he could see himself as a young person,
the thing
and tell
about him
himself
is
just
can't.
walk away.
Because the one time he did, it cost him everything.
Yeah.
But the thing is, look at how much more he could have had. Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane, all these other people that beyond the suit. The thing is, life goes on.
But the one time he walked away, his uncle died.
The 15 other times he found something new he lost because of the fucking suit.
That's the dichotomy of Spider-Man.
That's one the whole thing,
one of the funny things in the most recent Spider-Man books was when Doc Ock became Spider-Man. Doc Ock told him, do you know how much stuff you could have accomplished if you had used your life to do more than just Spider-Man?
Yes.
So this movie is reminding me, this Peter Parker is like, he's right after the whole Doc Ock thing. Like, look, you could do so much more with your life.
Exactly.
do so much more with your life.
Exactly.
And
than
if
just
you don't
in
know
a
what
box.
Jonathan is talking about right now, there is a comic book series called Superior Spider-Man,
Oh,
written
here
by
we
Dan
go.
Slott. It is
Here we
amazing.
go.
Superior Spider-Man. Runs about 30 issues. It's a great read. Pick it up. It's amazing.
All right, let's
Fucking
Now
move.
back to
guy
our
with
regularly
Superior
scheduled
Spider-Man.
programming.
Let's move forward to the other Spider. We
Okay,
spent like
you know what?
40
You know
minutes
what? You know
on
what?
like that.
We know who the real fans are, and Ray is going to be the Den Mother. Okay, Den Mother Ray, please move us forward.
Yes.
Miles gives Peter the goober. They
Right.
realize it's broken. So they need to go back to Alchemax to make a new one. So they go in there. They find the head scientist, and they decide they're just going to steal her computer.
Comedy
She
ensues.
turns out to be Octavia Octavius.
Olivia Octavius.
Octavius.
My favorite line, let me guess. Your friends call you Dr. Octopus. No, my friends call me Liz. My enemies call me Dr. Octopus. Which is just basically saying, yeah, I've had Spider-Man fuck with me before. And he called me Dr. Octopus. So if you call me Dr. Octopus, obviously you're friends with Spider-Man, and I'm going to fuck you up. That was awesome.
Yeah, we find out Miles is able to go invisible. It's like a flight or fight
reflex.
response that he doesn't know how to control. So once Octavius comes in the room, he just goes invisible. So Spider-Man's like, steal the computer, kid, run. So he picks the computer up and he just hauls ass. Spider-Man's fighting her.
Because he's supposed to hack it, and he's like, you know what, man, fuck this. And
Yeah,
he yanks
they're
the whole
they're
computer up
kid.
and takes
What do you-
off.
What do you expect?
I can hack this shit. Let's get out of here. He yanks the whole fucking computer up.
And the funny thing is, before they infiltrated the building, Spider-Man's like, yeah, I'm just going to get in there, scope everything out.
That's
maybe
how it normally
go in their
goes.
lunchroom, steal a bagel.
That's
so
how
as
it
they run
normally
through with the
goes.
computer, they end up in the cafeteria, and all of a sudden Spider-Man's like, play it cool, I'm getting a bagel. And the first person goes, Spider-Man.
Which
And he's
works.
like, no, I'm not Spider-Man.
pretty funny.
But people tell me,
It
I
works
look
for
like
a
Spider-Man.
while. It does work.
And all of a sudden, another person goes, Spider-Man. They all the scientists pull out pistols and start shooting at them.
And
It's
the worst part is,
hilarious.
he's not acting like this isn't normal. The kid,
Yeah,
Miles
it's
is
a- it's a
freaking
matter
out.
of-
Why the fuck would a bunch of scientists have guns? He's like, yeah, this happens. The whole thing is he's so ho-hum about the whole fucking, that's what makes it so awesome.
They're trying to make the escape. And this was one thing that I found was really cool about the animation as well.
Yeah.
He takes the bagel, throws it, and when the
Yeah.
bagel hits the scientist in the head, it said bagel.
Yeah.
You see a little word caption. And it happens several times in the movies. Like when they fist dap, it'll say dap, or like every now and then. Not every time, but sometimes.
It's the
Enough
action
to make you
clouds.
say, damn, that's a comic book.
You know what?
But it wasn't like corny Batman 66 corny. It was like,
It was just matter of
yeah,
fact.
it was
yeah,
like,
they
it was
just
like,
do it in the
oh yeah, I'm
background.
watching. It's like, oh yeah, I'm watching a comic book movie.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
like Spidey throws a web shooter to Miles, and he's like, okay, now I'm going to teach you how to web swing. He said, you never taught me how to web swing. He said, well, I'm teaching you now. They go running, swinging through the forest, trying to escape.
It's-
Wackiness ensues. Bullets, like scientists shooting at them. Octavius on their asses, and then we're introduced to who?
Spider-Gwen.
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 Spider-Gwen, the blonde girl from school.
The
Dun,
book
dun,
I-
dun, dun.
the book I
She's
never read.
Spider-Person 2, displaced
Like,
by the
does it fit
reality
me?
matrix.
We can sit here and just bullshit all day long and I'll be happy, but this
Okay.
movie, it's
All
too
right.
good.
Since I've been very vocal and excited about this movie, let me go
God
and tell you
damn
what
it,
I
man.
think. I was never a fan of Miles Morales.
Don't
I,
review
I,
it.
I, I thought he was a meh character.
Me too. Me too.
The first one of Axel Alonso's SJW babies.
Okay.
What I saw in this film, he's the modern Peter Parker.
Yes.
I really want to see more. What else can happen with this character as far as like in terms of stories and what have you? I might even pick up a comic book.
Maybe.
But what I really liked about this movie, it's what I grew up watching. And the most heart-touching parts of this movie was seeing the Stan Lee scene, the Mary Jane eulogy, Peter teaching Miles, like passing the torch. I always love those legacy characters. A lot of the things that Peter told him also came back in the end. This movie hit all the right notes for me.
I have never been a huge Spider-Man fan. I only cared about Spider-Man when the Fox animated series came out. That was number one. And then number two was when the comic book series, The Ultimate Spider-Man, came out. Thank you, John. That was his fault. Because I was like, wow, this was really fucking interesting. And it was such a unique take on the original series. It was just really, really, really good. It was really fucking good. It's like, it was just great. I took a take on that. First of all, when I heard about the whole Miles Morales thing, I didn't like it because I was reading CSN. comic shop news. The very first thing they say, oh, half black, half Hispanic Spider-Man. And as a black man, that triggered me immediately. It's like, yeah, it's garbage. And people would say, well, why do you think it's garbage? Because you're not talking about the person. Like, oh, yeah, they are. They're talking about, no. They're talking about the race.
Yeah, it's
if you talk about the race, you talk about the sex, you talk about the nationality, but you're not talking about the person. You could have completely kept all that stuff out and said, oh, it's an orphan child raised by an assassin. And I would have been 10 times more interested in reading that. That's the whole point. And I was like, yeah, I'm fucking done. I did not read one issue with Miles Morales. And the worst part is there are probably great issues because each artist is different. But the people who introduced me were like, hey, here's a half black, half Hispanic kid. You're welcome. And I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking reading that. There's nothing there to pull me in.
Well, it wasn't meant for us.
Which is a shame because we're the ones that have the money. We're the ones that grew up with fucking Spider-Man. So it's a shame that this comic book is not meant for the comic book fans that got it to this point. But, you know, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that was both the biggest and most disappointing point for me. John, what was the biggest point in all of Spider-Man mythos for you?
Okay, the biggest point for me, because I remember where I was when I read it, Todd McFarlane book when Venom was introduced. The reason why, because I remember I was by Andre, and he was showing me it, bought the book, and he was showing me the artwork. And to see when Mary Jane came home, she opened up the door and she thought it was Peter in the black suit. And Eddie Brock turned around and say, hi, honey, I'm home. That right there.
You saw teeth on the black suit, and you were like, what the hell am I looking at?
So that right there was groundbreaking. I am a Spider-Man fan, best superhero. Every issue of Ultimate Spider-Man up until Peter's death. And one of the things with the death that I didn't like, one of Andre's greatest writers, Jeff Loeb, had something to do with it. He put the mythos in the air. So I blame the death of Peter Parker on Loeb. So that's neither here nor there. But Bendis was able to take this theme that they gave him and model a really good character. So what we saw in this movie of who Miles was, that is what you got in the comics with when Miles found out that his Uncle Aaron was the Prowler. In the comic, Uncle Aaron found out what Miles could do. He wanted to take Miles with him on heist. He was like, hey, come with your uncle. We need you.
I never read that
like,
far.
You know what? You could turn invisible, walk through this door and unlock it for me. Because to him, it was just the cool Uncle Aaron. Oh, cool Uncle Aaron have a suit too? It wasn't Prowler the villain. It wasn't a villain. Uncle Aaron just was a thief, a good thief, the Prowler, and he was trying to corrupt Miles. And that scene with Miles on the roof with the Prowler when he was about to kill him and he did the claws and he was in a state like there's nothing I could do. He pulled up the mask, and then when Aaron pulled up his mask, is his world. That is his nephew who he loves. So that scene, the movie hit so many real emotional knots. They hit home with Peter. When Peter was in the house and he looked at the picture of MJ, you felt his pain. He lost something. All the little nuances when May saw Peter for the first time and she was looking at him like, you're not my Peter, but you're still my Peter. And she was looking at him like, hey, you get the gray. They had the little jokes, but there was so many emotional
John, tell me something. Did you ever think you'd be saying this about an animated movie?
No, see, that's the thing there. I never thought. Like, the funny thing is, right after I watched the movie, I sent a message to Dre like, look, I want to do the podcast.
They need me. They cannot save humanity without me.
I told my daughter, we're going to the movies. Let's go. Like,
when she saw it, what did she say? I want to know. Did she say like, man, you old people are fucking retarded? Like, what did she say?
Did she like
seeing a female.
Hey! Don't get that into it. It's not about that.
Shut your misogynist
It's not
ass
about
up.
that.
Um,
What the funny thing
bro.
is, Gwen wasn't the one that spoke to her.
Who
It was Miles, and she could relate things to Miles.
Puberty.
Like he could be Spider-Man too. Like when Miles went and he spray painted the suit, and he was there in his Jordans, and he was on the roof, and like when he had his moment, she just lit up like he's Spider-Man, like the makeshift Spider-Man suit. She was looking at all them. She saw the girl Spider-Man, and to her, she said, "There was the white girl Spider-Man."
I knew that's what they were doing. They aiming at the black kids and the girls. I mean, if you white boy, you already got Spider-Man. You don't.
Oh, here we go.
You already
Oh my
represent.
god!
Your privilege is already front and center.
It was
Hey,
the
you
kid.
Puerto Rican. I'm from the Bahamas. We could all be Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
And it was
isn't
funny, like,
ideal.
When I watched the
I
movie,
mean, I hope you are
remember-
Puerto Rican. If not, I'm just racist as fuck.
I know.
You
You know what's so
probably
funny
are.
with the collider and all the lights? I remember the episode of Pokemon where they say if you watch
With
this episode
seizures.
of Pokemon, you're gonna have seizures.
Yeah.
And I remember
when the
all of
news
us sitting
said
there
that,
watching
twice
that
as many
exact
people
episode.
watch. It's like
We
I see
watched
it.
the episode to
I
see
see
if
it.
he can have seizures. Like, yeah.
You know, we saw it because we wanted to see. We wanted the
Yeah.
knowledge. I didn't
Yeah,
see
we
it,
wanted to have
but I
that.
wasn't
Yeah.
worthy, I guess.
Okay,
But let's
my
review
bad.
this. There's a shitload of comic book movies coming out underground. Deadly Class, Umbrella Academy, all this shit. Shit that I collected, no fucking body cared about. And then out of nowhere, Netflix is like, oh, we got this new series. Deadly Academy. I'm sitting like, the fuck? I got this. They don't mention that it's a comic book movie because that will put a stigma on it.
I love that everyone's a human that's sort of been bitten by a spider, but Spider-Ham was a spider that got bitten by a radioactive pig. But,
But
hey,
I think they were just trying to beat him
Yeah.
down. They were trying to beat him down to make him not want to do this because
But,
unlike all
like,
of them, all
these
of them,
little things,
uh-huh.
all these little things came back. I love when things come full circle, man.
Yeah,
It's
all
like
those
all
things,
these little
all those
things,
little
like-
jokes came back. Yeah.
Don't watch the mouth, watch the hands. Oh, you got to get back up. And my favorite scene of this movie that friggin' brought me to tears, like, dude, my eyes were wet for the whole movie. The goober, they needed to put the goober in the machine to reset it to, one, send everyone back home, and two, destroy it. And
Right.
they decided to abandon Miles. They were like, dude, you just can't do it.
No,
And Miles
not they,
bailed on
not
it.
they,
Right.
not they. Peter P. Parker is the one that decided. That was his decision. The
But they
rest
were
of
all
them,
willing to stay behind and sacrifice themselves, and that also showed Miles
Yeah.
something. Like there, with all that being said, at the last minute, Miles bucks up. He goes back to Aunt May. He goes to the spider shed. Aunt May's down there, and she was like, "I was waiting for you, kid." Now everything's coming full circle. Everything we've seen from the beginning, dude. She gives Miles web slingers, and there were so many spider outfits on there. You had the stealth suit, the Iron Spider suit, the suit from the Spider-Man video game that
Yeah,
just came out on
yeah.
PlayStation, armored suit from back in the days. You had the Spider Cycle, the Spider Buggy, every single thing from all these comic books, and it was
Yep.
so fucking dope. I was sitting there like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I was like, I don't even know what that one is. There was one with a cape on it. I was like, what is that? A Dracula
All right.
suit? Takes his spray
Go
paint, and he took a Spidey suit, spray painted it black. So you had red
Like
on the
the
fingers,
comics.
red on the feet, and then he spray painted a red spider logo on the chest, which is, we saw his graffiti skills in the beginning, so now he just customized one of Peter's old suits. And dude, you see him swinging through the city with his web shooters, and you're like, it's on, motherfucker, it's on.
The one thing about this movie, the Miles Morales character, I could give two shits about. But this movie itself, because they kind of humanized him, they really couldn't do that in the comic book for me. But now that they made an actual animated movie of them, I actually really do care about him. And it's pretty much in the way they did his character. The one thing that bothered me the most about it, though, was the jump between him being able to do what he did at the very end versus what he did at the very beginning. Like, to me, his progression and his skills wasn't enough, but it's okay, you know, because if his progression was going up as time went on throughout the movie, it would have been more believable for me. That's the only thing that really hurt me about this movie, like the progression of his skills. I wish his progression, his skill progression, and his confidence just grew a little bit more and more and more throughout the movie. Other than that, I thought this thing was phenomenal. I really wouldn't care about Miles Morales if I didn't see the movie. You know, that's my whole thing.
Dude, when Miles came back and
Yeah.
to try to help them win the day, and Peter still didn't believe in him, Miles said, Peter, leave. Go home. I got this. And Peter looks at Miles and he says, I cannot let Spider-Man die. And he says, if you stay, you'll die. And I will not let Spider-Man die either. And then he does the whole trick where he sweeps the legs, tripped him down the same way Peter did to him when he first met him. He'd already stole the goober, and he played the same trick on him when he's like, watch the hands, not the mouth.
On that note, let's review this thing.
So that being the case, God willing, for all of our audience members, we really had to pull back. Yeah, you're gonna say we talked about shit. All you did was listen to like an hour of 4 grown-ass men circle jerking over a comic book character. This movie was phenomenal. So now let's go to our reviews. It'll start with me. Easily out of the gate, I would give this our highest review, which is I want this inside of me. But I'm gonna give you a little inside baseball. Ray actually recommended that we come up with something a little bit higher, super duper special. And no matter what he came up with, I would have given it to it, but I don't want to do that. I want to keep this pure. If we start doing shit like that, we're no better than the Oscars. And fuck the Oscars. At the end of the day, as all of you know, we do a special end of the year thing. The best movies of the year. Absolutely, easily, no holds bars. This is a guaranteed, I want this inside of me, which is higher than the full price. Ray?
I'm going to give this a full... I want this inside of me. The animation.
I was about to strike you. I thought you were going to say full price.
Alone.
I would have backhanded the shit out of you.
Alone.
In front of our sound engineer. I don't give a fuck.
Alone, this would be unbelievable. These guys need to branch off and make their own new studio. Do it while it iron's hot.
You mean
and then
Disney?
No,
because Disney's the one that will take it.
No, well,
Disney will rape this shit.
Well, if they're smart, they would make a studio, just continue to pump out movies like this, and then sell it for a couple of $1 billion. Yeah, man, I want this inside me. The movie's unbelievable, animations just unbelievable, effects unbelievable, story unbelievable. It's just spectacular.
Period. Okay, Dre, what you got?
The animation, the storytelling, the characters, amazing.
Are you crying?
But I gotta say, fuck this
like
movie because they make me cry.
Now, some people will say that crying makes you a bitch. You don't
I
have
know,
to
but
believe
I'm
that.
preparing for the apocalypse, so fuck this movie.
Okay, that's fine.
I can't be crying
so
when
where do you
the
want
apocalypse comes.
So where do you want it?
But
No,
I just want to say, that person who helps others simply because it should be or must be done, and because it is the right thing to do, is indeed, without a doubt, a real superhero. Thank you, Stanley, for giving us these great characters.
And now I'm gonna cry. Give this a review, please.
Yeah. What's the review?
What's your score? I'm gonna fucking cry.
I already told you, fuck this movie because it made me cry. Other than that, it's fucking awesome. I want it in me.
All right.
Okay, he said he wants him.
Yeah.
He likes his shit pushed in.
Yeah, John.
After what Dre did, I can't top it. I will say this is by far the greatest comic book movie I've seen, hands down.
Possibly of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time.
You know what? Jonathan.
Greatest.
I will take you, me, and Mr. Quinney. Would you say this is better than Conan? Because you know how Mr. Quinney feels about
In
Conan.
a year.
Is it me or is John going in between universes here on our call?
He is. That's why you have to make this quick.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually... I mean, I got a collider running right now, guys. Florida's going to fucking disintegrate in 20 minutes.
Yeah, no,
You know what? I
this
didn't ask
movie
you
is...
about
And
that.
this shit soon.
Okay, I want this inside of me.
Oh,
Bam. Guess what, Ray?
Yes.
Ray,
Better than Conan.
like the fireworks.
Hold on.
All 4 reviews want this inside of them. I do believe this has achieved movie of the year. So here's the thing, guys. You know, I'm not going to acknowledge you anymore.
All right.
So here's the thing, guys.
Hold on.
I think that because this made movie of the year, he's playing the rotation, the bumper, but genuinely like.